How good is the start?
It's a good start.
It's a great start.
Yeah, it's the first win.
And why do we play?
You play to win the game.
And what do we want?
I want winners.
I'm not bipartisan. I'm not bipolar. I'm not Biden.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football. We talk football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like this video and answer the question in the comments below. Who will win? Number 9 LSU at the real Death Valley. Number 4 Clemson. Yeah, I said it, and we'll talk about it, okay? Also, I want to point out that off the rip, this is a one-score game, according to our friends at Bet Online. Right now, Clemson is a 3-point favorite against LSU, and I think a lot of that has to do with the home field advantage, and I think a lot of that has to do with how we feel about the overall possibility of Clemson really getting off to a fast start and perhaps running the table, but that's going to have to come against a top 10 opponent and an SEC program that expects to compete for a conference championship and make the college football playoff this year. Massive game, massive playoff implications for both of these programs and for the ACC and the SEC. I'm thinking that if you are laying down some money on this game, I'm not, I don't do that, but I do pick winners. I went undefeated last week. You should know about that. I like Clemson in this game too, but I really like Clemson. I like Clemson in this game too, but I like what I see from LSU. So give me a second while I unpack this and give you my prediction for who I think is going to win this football game. Let's start with, we know we got Heisman caliber quarterbacks on both sides. We know that Garrett Nussmeier and Cade Klubnik are entering this season as guys that could be first off the board in the upcoming NFL draft. With Garrett Nussmeier, we kind of knew what it was going to be from the moment that he committed to LSU. And turned out he sat behind Jaden Daniels. He needs to walk past that Heisman mural every single day he goes to practice. And that's where he wants to end. Son of Doug Nussmeier, who was an offensive coordinator for Nick Saban at Alabama and for the Dallas Cowboys, among other things. And Nuss loves being an LSU Tiger. I think he is fit and ready to try to bring that program its first national championship since 2019. He is the SEC's top returning passer with over 4,000 yards passing last year. And I think as we're looking at Cade Klubnik, it is a guy that has grown on me and frankly grown on everybody else. Last year was his leap year. He took the jump last year. I didn't see it coming out of high school, and I was loud about that. I was like, hey, I'm watching Austin Westlake. I'm not sure that I see what Dabo Swinney, and at the time, I believe it was Garrett Riley inherited Cade Klubnik. I'm not sure what I see there. I'm not sure that I got the arm. I don't see the playmaking ability, but he won that state championship game against Quinn Ewers and the South Carolina Dragons. And that was really cool to see. He goes to Clemson. He doesn't look great, and Dabo sticks with him. And he told Garrett Riley, you're sticking with him. I see it. It's coming. He works hard. He's showing up on time. He's getting better in the film room. He's getting better at identifying the defenses that he's seeing. And when they lost to Texas last year, it wasn't about him. It was about the run game. They got shelled because, well, they could not run the football. And perhaps that changes with Gideon Davis and those guys this year. But I think it's a different Clemson team. They know what it takes to win an ACC championship. They know what it takes to get to the college football playoff and 12 team. And I think they were delighted and excited that Syracuse gave them this opportunity with a win against Miami that Miami had in the bag. So they beat SMU, in the ACC championship game, 24-20 win over Pitt, though. Those were only two teams they beat last year with a winning record, or finished with winning records. And Pitt lost 6 straight after getting off to a 7-0 start. So we think that Clemson is good in large part because of Dabo Swinney and Cade Klubnik. Defensively, we think they're great because of TJ Parker and Peter Woods and Sammy Brown. My goodness, I keep going down the list. Woody Woodaz. They are great all over the football field. It's point and shoot with those guys. If they can stop LSU from going fast and extending plays with Garrett Nussmeier, it could be just that simple for them. The Tigers last year were 2-4 when they allowed 31 points or more. They were 8-0 when they allowed 31 points or fewer. So the magic number is 30 going into this season. Can you keep LSU down under 30 and let your offense do what it needs to do? I mentioned TJ Parker here. 65 tackles last year, 11 sacks, 19 and a half tackles for loss, which is just mind-blowing, right? But on the other hand, we have an LSU team that is ready and wants to show you, no, this ain't the real Death Valley. That's Tiger Stadium. Both of these programs call their stadiums Death Valley. But Clemson gets the claim to it, and LSU, in its own literature, says, yes, they got the claim to it. We call ourselves Death Valley because, well, it's hot, it's humid. You don't like to play here. We love that about ourselves. Gonna have some real swamp booty. You go down to the bayou to play a football game. But the reason they call it Death Valley in Clemson is SID goes out to the desert where the real Death Valley is. He picks up a rock. It was hot. He brings it back, puts it down, says, we can make this place into a spot as inhospitable as the real Death Valley. We got something going on here. And they have. That has been a really tough place to go and get a win. Just damn near impossible. But LSU could be that team. The Tigers are 6-0 when they intercept anybody last year. Anybody at all. If they were able to pick you off, they won the football game. So Cade Klubnik, don't throw any interceptions against LSU. You want to win because they're 3-4 when they didn't. And you're not great, but that's not as terrible as you might think, right? That's a 9-4 football team where you get to go, somebody put your hands on the football when it's in the air, and we're going to probably win this football game. I also think it's interesting to point out that they were 9-0 when they scored 24 points or more. So perhaps the number isn't 30 for Clemson. Maybe it's 23 because LSU is going to score. You look at the offense, you look at what they have in Nussmeier, you look at what they have in Berrien Brown, in Nick Anderson, in Aaron Davis, in Caden Durham. They're going to move the football. Can you get home, though? Because LSU also allowed just 15 sacks last year. Will Campbell's not there, and we're going to get to see if Tyree can actually make this thing happen. Tyree Adams can make this thing happen at that position as a sophomore. If they're able to keep Nuss clean, he's going to pick you apart. He's just that good. I really like how they have built this team so that he's got 4-4 across the board, and he gets to make as many fast decisions as he can, while also every now and again, he's going to chunk it deep. He's going to test your defense. They're going to go try to take your top off. I think DJ Chester is going to start. We know what he was. He started all last year. They got a transfer in from Virginia Tech in Braylon Moore, and then we'll see how the rest of the offensive line seems to gel. But LSU is up against a really, really hard fact. One they need to shake. LSU has lost 5 straight season openers since winning the 2019 national championship. It's a number that you heard ad nauseum after they lost to USC last year. And then Brian Kelly, slams his fist on the table to say, I thought we were past this. Nah, dog, you just got here. LSU been at LSU for a while. But that aside, this is a program that has shown it can win national championships with any kind of coach. I mean, we're talking about Nick Saban, Les Miles, and Ed Orgeron. I can't think of 3 guys that are more dissimilar from each other who have shared the same head coaching opportunity and won a national championship. That's just the magic they got for that purple and gold down there, and why the Bayou Bengals are more often than some of their parts. And some of their parts, it's pretty high. It's always pretty good. If you are Clemson, and you're measuring the linebacking core, you're going, okay, we know we got Woody. We know we got Sammy. We know we think we're going to be good. But on the other side, they think they're going to be just as good too. It's not just Whit Weeks. It's Harold Perkins. If Harold Perkins gets to run loose and free in Blake Baker's defense, you got a problem. You really do got a problem. Because the last time that Harold Perkins was able to come after people, he was a monster. Now, is he coming off injury? Yeah. Could he go in the NFL draft? Sure. He didn't. He came back. They spent more money this year on name, image, and likeness than they ever had. And Brian Kelly gave $1 million of his own money this year because he believes that this is the team that can not just bring them to the playoff or the SEC championship, but win a national championship. And they're going all in on trying to do it right here, right now, which means going into Clemson goes a long way with that. You go in there and you beat a number 4 AP ranked Clemson, you're probably going to vault into the top 5 after Labor Day. And then it's just holding on for dear life because the SEC has 8 teams in it that we all think ought to be or could be ranked. And they aren't Missouri. They aren't, I guess they are Missouri for me. I should say they are Missouri as the seller. Like the bottom of who you think can get into the college football playoff, Missouri, Oklahoma, that's about it. Everybody else, talking about Ole Miss, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Auburn? Question mark? And then you got to draw a line, right? Vanderbilt, probably not. They're going to have to go undefeated. They're going to have to win an SEC championship. Mississippi State, probably not. Probably don't have the horses. Florida, they can make the playoff, right? I'm sure there's a Florida fan that was screaming at me for the last 30 seconds going, how did he forget us? And I'm sure someone else is going to start screaming at me pretty soon here too. But point there is, Clemson is a good measuring stick for how you should be able to operate in the SEC. South Carolina can make the playoff. It's a tough league. Like I did the Will Kane show, I should say Will Kane Country, just before doing this segment. And one of the things that he was locked in on is how many teams from each conference are going to make the playoff. I said there could be as many as 4 from the SEC, and I don't think that's saying that much. 2 teams that play in the conference championship game, and then if you got a 3-loss SEC team using the strength of metric, and you got 2 9-win teams, they're probably going to push out Group of 5 team, right? So you're only going to get the one Group of 5 team in this year like last year. Will it be Memphis? Will it be Boise State again? We don't really know. We know it probably won't be UNLV. My God, they look bad against Idaho State. That is not a good look for Dan Mullen in week 1, or Alex Orji for that matter. So as we keep going down the list here, I see why there are so many people that believe that Clemson is more than capable of winning a national championship. I also see why there are so many people that believe LSU can win. They got a 6'5", 5-star cornerback at LSU. That feels unfair. If DJ Pickett can do what many think he can, that might be just another Derek Stingley. It might be just another guy that you have to say, okay, he's going both ways, because it's waste not to ask him to do these things if he's capable of doing them. But Brian Kelly's offense always works. It's whether or not Blake Baker's defense is going to work against a Heisman caliber quarterback with Gideon Davis running the football, Antonio Williams out and in routes, Bryant Wesco out in routes. It ought to be the one-score game that they're making it out to be. So that all aside, I said aside, that all established, not aside, very much in front of us. I'm going to pick Clemson to win this football game because I really like that the roster was built around retaining talent, which is the hardest thing in the world to do today. Dabo brought in 3 transfers. They weren't really that highly touted. One guy from Alabama, Jeremiah Alexander, but he has built a program where guys are recruited out of high school. They come to Clemson, they stay at Clemson, and they develop into bona fide monsters. That used to be the way that everybody wanted to do it, and everybody has. Now, he's the outlier. And as the guy who has decided to zag when everybody else zigged, he might actually have proven what it takes to be a great college football head coach today. It's not enough that you can recruit them or that you can evaluate the portal. Maybe it's that you are good enough and charismatic enough and care about them enough to convince them to stay.